Okay, people, it is Tuesday, April the 6th, 2021. Welcome to week one, also known as the open house for um, constitutional law. And I tell people, I say that, boy, constitutional law, man, there's a lot of stuff going on in constitutional law these days. I uh, spent a good part of my day listening to the testimony of the Chauvin case up in Minnesota, and really, really, I see a whole lot of constitutional issues involved in that. I remember years ago in '84, I did analysis every day for about 10 minutes of the O.J. Simpson case that I viewed uh, back in those days, and it was on the VCR that I saved, and I would watch it. And I got three radio stations every day. It was a good paying gig while I was still practicing law, but this took me back and made me remember certain things. So I've been doing what uh, the name of the note taker, taking notes about this particular case, looking at the aspects of it. And then also I look at it from the aspect of things that I talk about in terms of teaching criminal justice. Those of you who are in this class, who have been in classes of mine before, know that I teach from three tiers: criminal justice, ethical, educational, and professional. And actually all three of those points are points that have arose uh, in the Chauvin trial. And then they have the smoking gun, of course, you know, the initial video that was released, and now the body cam video. So there's a lot of evidence. And I say all of that, that as we go through these modules this quarter, this next 5.5 weeks, we'll be commenting about that. Very, 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 very important. So, well, anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share the material with you. So let's go ahead and do what I normally do, and that is to share my screen. Okay. And here it is. Let's move this up. Looks totally different. This is, of course, the home page, how it looks now. Totally different from the one we had before. Notice over here it says Tuesday 8:30 to 9:30. Actually, it should be today 8:30 to 10. But I don't know why the clock didn't pick that up. I think that's because all the other weeks are that. But if when we get to the calendar, you'll see, and I think in the announcement too as well. And then there's the location or the link which you really can't click on. So let me help you become familiar with this. So there's some things on here that you cannot see. Hidden from students, I won't click on those things. Getting started is visible to you guys. And I usually would recommend to students that you take a look at this, and I'm going to click on it. And what it does, it just brings it open. So it introduces you to the course. Let's put that over here now. Okay. And it tells you a little bit about what we're going to be talking about, and welcoming you to constitutional law. And I'm not going to read all of this, but one of the things that it does say that we are going to do in this course is deal with the concepts of constitutional law. And we're going to deal with real people. I've already started doing that. real cases. I've started doing that already, and real legal challenges. And we're going to deal with how as you discovered from looking at my background information, if you looked in the chat, you saw my statement that you've seen before in the student lounge previously that tells you that I was a long time criminal defense attorney, but I also was a police officer for a while and a prosecutor. And so we're going to deal with the rights of individuals based upon the Constitution, and we're going to talk about some very um, key amendments to the United States Constitution that have to do with um, criminal procedure. And as it says, while there are not always clear answers when it comes to legal studies, nor do I know that, there is always an argument for each side. There's always, you don't have to agree with me, just provide support for why you disagree or why you take a certain position. That's what we constantly had to do, whether we were dealing from the perspective of standing in front of a judge or a jury. We had to provide not only arguments and statements, but we generally provided proof, particularly when it's judges of the law, more so with the judges, as to support our positions as we represented individuals. So it's quite a thing here. And so, and then also, hey guys, if you remember, one of the interesting things that we talk about in all of my classes, and that's an advantage of talking to many of you in this class who've had my previous classes. I talk about transferable skills. And one of the transferable skills that has come up in this case, the Chauvin case, um, anybody, well, I'm not going to ask you, what do you know what transferable skill has become an issue from the perspective of those who were police officer or law enforcement? Anybody know which of the transferable skills has been mentioned? If you know, you can type it in the chat. I'll see it. So I'll give you a second. Well, I'll give you a clue. It's right in front of you. Which one? There are two of them, actually. Okay. One is critical thinking, and the other is communication skills. Important roles, which is why we stress them in terms of our assignments. By the way, just confirming, you each can see the page that I'm looking at, the introduction, right? Can you see the introduction? Okay. All right. So, yeah, you see, so it says at the bottom, it says, in a course like this, the argument, the rationale is as important as the outcome. And then it says you'll have an opportunity to hone your critical thinking, which again, if you listen to the testimony in the Chauvin case that has taken place, well, no, oh, okay, you know, I have the chat. Uh, let's see, let's pull that out. Okay, now can you see the chat? Yeah, the chat's right there now. So anyway, the point of the matter is, it's very important for you to, you can't, you said maybe you can't see the chat? Do you see the chat box? Oh, okay. Let me put that in here, I think. How about now? Now, can you see everybody's? Okay, one of the quirks of this new system. So anyway, I'm going to close down um, that chat box so I can take it off of the screen. Oh, that's why. Okay, that's why. Okay, being on that iPad. So it is. So anyway, this is how you get the introduction. Okay, so then you can check the course schedule. Oh, let's go back to the get started again. All right, so we got started, and then it gives you each of the modules. Okay, so module 1, it shows you the same thing that we're going to see in the actual modules. Overview. Okay, that's a new thing. All right, so the objectives, and basically it lays out what we be doing this week. Um, chapters 1 to 3, as you can see in the textbook from which the PowerPoints I sent you and your reading should take place. And then the Constitution and the Supreme Court, that's the lesson for the week. And the assignments, discussion post, exploring judicial review activity, which, by the way, your discussions are still due on Tuesdays, and your reply posts are due on Saturdays. Now, there is something that you should note. You probably will open up the discussion and you will not see any discussions at all until you post your initial post. You should be aware that it's called I forgot what it's called, but post first. And what it does is it keeps students from taking somebody else's post and using it for their initial post, pretty much. And so you have to first post your initial post. Once you post your initial post, which by the way is due tonight at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard for one of two um, that you have. Well, no, you have one this week. No, you have two. You do have two. Exploring uh, judicial review. And then the second one is the important amendment. And we're going to talk about that more in detail. And then there's the live classroom lecture uh, uh, word that you have to give or phrase. And then there's one written assignment that is very, very short. Student asked me once already, how long should the preamble activity be? You should satisfy the requirements of the module. And we're going to go into the module in just a few minutes, but I'm just showing you this right here is not the full thing, but this is something that will help you in terms of uh, dealing with once again, you deal with the get started, you have the introduction, you have your course schedule. And when your course schedule, that's how you'll see the assignments for each week. Okay, that has always been, whether you realize that it goes all the way through to week number 6. All right, once again, takes you back to where we are here. All right, so now, and then the lounge, which is yours now. This is for students, but this is student to student. I'll show you how to get to the class chat. And then here are the actual assignments, which we're going to go over in just a few minutes. Okay. All right. So I bring you back. Okay. Let's go back to the course homepage. Okay. So we got each of these things out of the way. So now I'm going to show you something. How do you see what we call, first of all, this link right here is course content. That's where we are right now. So that's what we are now, on the course content. And it gives each of the week's materials. And if you just put your mouse over it and open it, you can see it. All right. Now let's take a look at the course calendar. You guys have all of these at the top of your page, I think. Well, most of them. Am I right? Okay. Going a little different in terms of this time because I'm trying to help you to learn how to navigate this at the same time. So let's take a look at the course calendar. Okay. I like to put up the month view. You can have the day view, but I like to put up the month view. And notice what it says. It shows you that the course began yesterday, then our live lecture today. Okay, and if you click on that, it takes you back to the daily. And then this says that your reply post, discussion post 1, which, by the way, I've got to take this out of your calendar because there is no discussion. Yes, there is. There's 2 discussion ones. And actually, oops, that's one of the quirks of this system. Let's go back. There's an error in here. Let's go back to the calendar. Let's go back to the month. Okay. For some reason, oh, I know what happened. I got to move your lectures over. I thought I did. I thought I moved. Anyway, your calendar, I got to move your discussion posts over because what happens is that it allows us to put in your initial post, but this is your actual second one. Excuse me. And so here's what I'm going to do. Let's go to today. I'm going to fix it up right in front of you. And you're going to see what I'm going to do. I'm going to add an event. Okay. INTILST. So it will be due. This is how we had to fix it, by the way. Oh, I don't have to do that. It's going to be all day. Okay. And I want to repeat this event. Repeat it. Let's do that repeat. Okay. And I'm going to have it to end on a date. The date that I want it to end is it's in May. Okay, on Tuesday, May 4th. Actually, I'm going to do it ended May 11. Okay, then I will save it. Okay, now, this is what we had to go through. It is really tedious. Okay, so now you see. Now you see. So your initial posts are due on the 6th. So you actually have 2 of them. So let's do a double. an event, and that's just for, I'm going to just do it for today. Initial POST day. Okay, and then I'm going to save it. So now you'll have two. Okay, there we go. So now on your calendar, it is absolutely correct. Okay. Now, so if you look at your calendar, you will be able to see your initial post. Both of them are due tonight. Then your live lecture, and then your discussion posts for reply. These are due on the 10th. Yeah, I hear you. You should have seen me working like a mad person Sunday after I finished my sermon. After we finished church, I ate and then just worked until like 3 in the next morning just to set up two classes under this new system. So I hear you. So anyway, so now you see on your calendar the schedule, your initial post. And I'm going to just tell you so you know this is information. The reason why that post was over here Saturday the 10th is because under this ultra system, when I'm talking about we, us professors, as we set it up, they would only allow us to enter the reply post, which was kind of crazy. Then we had to go back later in our training and show us how to add the additional posts. So it was not as simple as it was before. You don't have to worry about that part, but I'm just telling you that's why that goof up was, and I got it straightened out here, so I'm glad. So then on Sunday, the 11th, Sunday the 11th, your live classroom phrase. Now, this this may be confusing by seeing this, but this is how they had us to enter it. So your live lecture takes place on this day. Now, I'm going to show you something that's very interesting about what you're gonna learn. And you should have learned this, but I'm going to help you out with it. So if we go a little bit, be patient because I'm trying to also help students that look at this recording because I figured out a lot of things that will help students to understand, because I'm not joking. If you look at the app, you are familiar with the Rasmussen app on your phone. You guys familiar with that? If not, there is an app. Okay. On that app, I saw so many students that were saying, help, help, you know. So that's what I'm doing tonight. All right. So anyway, so bear with me on this. So anyway, so here's your work for this week. So you got two discussion posts that are initial posts and reply posts that are due respectively. Initial posts tonight, reply posts. Nothing changed in terms of due dates for any discussion posts or written assignments. It's just how we had to put them on the calendar. Okay. So, and normally what I would have done is put the reading assignment on that Monday, but they said, don't do that. I said, okay, I didn't do it because you already know what your reading assignment is, because that's going to be in your module itself when we get there. So is everybody good now on the understanding about the calendar? Okay, so now let's just go down for the sake of it, and I want to show you when the quarter ends. And if you go down, now we're looking at May. This is actually May. I got it covered. And so if you come down here, the course actually ends on the 11th. On the 11th. And notice that on the 11th, the quarter ends, your initial post due, and then your reply post due. Since I changed that now, I do on that same day because the course absolutely ends on the 11th. And then and then it says, okay, 4 more. I guess you have to go back to looking at what those things are. Here they are. So your discussion post, your final exam, and then your written assignment, then your live classroom lecture, and the written assignment. Okay, all of that's due on the 11th of May. So I was just pointing that out to you so you understand it. Again, I like the month version, but I thought that we could maybe if I no, it takes me back to the daily. So let's see if I can put it on due dates. Okay, there we go. So you got some things to do on here. So your live classroom. This is not, remember now, this is not, this is the end of the course I'm showing you right now. Week 6, written assignment, the death penalty, and then the final project. That's the other written assignment, and then your final exam. And notice that they're all due on May the 11th. Okay, I hope that clarifies things for you. But just remember, whether you like the daily or the monthly. I like the monthly, but you know, you'll click on it and then it'll take you to the daily. And for the daily, you can see for each day that what you have to do. But if you look at the month, if you look at going back to the beginning of this course, this tells you the dates that they're due here. But if you put it on the date, then today you're not gonna see this until you get to the 10th. So if you look at the day, it says 2 initial posts that are due today. Then if you click on the initial post, okay, they don't let us change it. So the initial posts are due today. And then if you go down further, it tells you your live lecture, open house. And that's it for today. But then if you go over to Wednesday, you're not going to see anything. Thursday, you're not going to see anything. Friday, you're not going to see anything. But you see these little things under the bottom? Can you see these 3 dots under the 6? Do you see the dots under there? Can you guys see that pretty well? Yeah, that tells you there are 2 things under here that you need to be aware of. On Monday, there was 1 thing. That's just the beginning of the course. The 3 things under here are the lecture and the 2 discussion posts. And this one over here is 2. So now let's get to this one, the 10th. And it even tells you over here. See, it says 2 items due. All right. So I don't know if you can click on this chevron. This is an experiment. Yep. Okay, that just tells you, okay, then, oh, here we go. It breaks it down and it tells you your 2 posts that are due and then Sunday. Okay. All right. So anyway, the key thing is, once again, you got that month view. And then if you get to the date for this Saturday, then you got the daily view. There are 2 things. And if you scroll down, it will tell you what those 2 things are. There they are. They're due by 11:59 p.m. and that's your 2 discussion posts. Okay. And then if you go to the next week, which starts there, you see on the 11th, there's 2 dots there, and it tells you what things are due that day, your live classroom lecture and your written assignment. That's how the calendar works. All right. It's a little more complicated, but anyway, I'm giving this to you. You'll probably learn more about how that operated from working with me than you will from anybody, because I believe in breaking it down for you to help you, because it can be scary. All right. So now let's look at this chat thing. Now this is a chat for discussions. Now, if you look at this, this gives you your lounge. I'm not going to look at this because this is visible for you, and it's a student space where it's visible to you. I can see it too I'll just show you. I can click on it, and it should be things that students have posted in here. So you see that. All right. So they took us professors and moved us out of that. I'm not sure if that was the best way to do it, but that's what they ended up doing. Okay. So now we can go back. I can go back. Okay. So now the course chat up under that. Remember, that's that little, using these things up here. This is where you're going to see the course chat. That's where it tells you that I posted something, and some people have responded to it already. All right, I see. I recognize this first name. Okay, and I will be responding to it. And then this is a second name, and all these I'll be responding to later. But then what they did was they replied to this. And those of you who've been in my other classes have seen this before, because what it does, it gives you, forgive me for having to move this around, but I got to because of the way this is set up. And so the little mug shot there of the notorious Wright family, at least some of them. And then it tells you something about me. That's my pride and joy when I graduated from law school. That's when I was 28 years old. I am going to be 71 May 3rd. Yay! Still going. And then I tell you to reply to the post and so forth. And I give you my little mnemonic about how to help you, along with the bottom ways to communicate with me. As you already know, I'm one of the most reachable professors of anybody. So you can reach out to me. You know the rule. All right. So then it goes into discussions. Okay. So while I'm looking at it now, is click on this. Tells you discussion post number 1. Okay. And okay. And here is the issue, because it's written differently. Do you think it is fair to get to elect this group, not to get to elect this group? Um, yeah, that's right. At 25th hour. That's right. Don't try to call me then. And then do you think that they should serve a specific term rather than life? And so the due dates can be found by checking the course syllabus and the course calendar, which I already familiarized you with. All right, so here's some responses that students have posted. And it's no big deal because you each get a chance to see them anyway. And here's one student's post, and then I'll reply to some of these posts. Okay, so the question here is this: as you already know, the United States Supreme Court consists of how many members? Anybody know how many members in the United States Supreme Court at the present time, or that's a full Supreme Court? How many? I'll give you multiple choice. Is it 7, Is it 9 or is it 10? So that means automatically 8's not right. 7, 9, or 10? Which one? It's 9. Generally, they don't want to have an even number because they don't want to have a tie. They did have 8 for a while until the last person that was selected, the young lady from that Trump selected. I forgot her name, the very last one, but um, when she was, because she took the place of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who passed away. And at that point, it was 9, and then it was 8, and then she was appointed to fill it. So 9 is the optimal amount. There is some talk about changing that number, but I don't see it. That's just talk. So anyway, so there are 9 Supreme Court justices, because usually if decisions are what we call close, 5-4, that's that's how they operate. So it's 9. All right. So there's 8 justices and 1 chief justice, but the chief justice is a justice as well. It's just that that's the one who heads the Supreme Court, and that's Roberts at the present time. And so anyway, the question is, under the Constitution, the President of the United States selects individuals for the Supreme Court subject to approval by the Senate. And then there are hearings to determine through the committee called the Judiciary Committee in the United States Senate. And then it goes to the full floor for a vote to select the person who is on. And that person is appointed for life. For life, unless they're impeached, and or they retire, whichever one. And so the point I want to bring to you is that when that Supreme Court justice, um, and people will say things like, for example, okay, I'll just look at one. Uh, Most students believe what Lisa do. They believe that too. Almost every student I get. But I will submit a response later to explain to you why that uh, they should not be chilled from making decisions. The United States Supreme Court should not be controlled by a politician or anybody else once they're on the bench. So they're unique in that, and for life. And I kind of like it. I like it. And as a lawyer, I totally get why they're there for the term for life. And so the question is, do you think that they should be serving for a specific term? And most students say yes. And then what should this term be? Most students, if they say a term, they'll usually say 4 to 6 years, and then explain it and so forth and so on. So anyway, that's discussion number 1. Okay. Discussion number 2. Discussion number 2 involves the important amendment. Okay. And it actually tells you what do you think the most important amendment relating to the criminal law and why? And then that's what this is all about. So let's click on this. So now I'm going to just tell you up front that the most important amendments, just for your own information, is the fourth, remember there are 10 constitutional amendments, and we call them the Bill of Rights. Okay. Okay, wait a minute, I'm trying to see what you said. It's confusing on the side of the post here too, because it says participate by. Well, yeah, but that's why you got a calendar. That's the whole point in a nutshell, that you have to participate by in order to get, and that's really the way they set this up. I got you. I feel you're totally on it, but try not to read into that. Try to pay attention to the calendar helps you more, and the announcements about the due dates. Okay, so that is what you need to focus on. So when you get into the actual assignment itself, so it says due dates for your initial and response posts can be found by checking syllabus and course calendar. That's what I said a few minutes ago. All right. So anyway, as I started to say, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution are called the Bill of Rights, and the First Amendment just pretty much deals with freedom of speech, religion, press, etc., etc. The second deals with guns and weapons. The Third Amendment, I'm drawing a blank on, but I want to focus in on the Fourth Amendment as the first primary amendment that you will deal with in this particular course. And that's very important because it has to do with search and seizure and all the rules under search and seizure, which we'll be discussing more in detail. The next one is the Fifth Amendment. And the Fifth Amendment is the right to self-incrimination, that you don't have to testify against yourself. That is where the infamous Miranda versus Arizona case uh, comes on, that you should be familiar with if you've been in my classes. That's the one that came up with the infamous card now that police officers use that says you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. Um, and then if you can't afford one will be appointed for you. And then it says, do you understand these rights and so forth. So that's pretty much it. But you can look at it. But police officers now generally use a written card. And you've heard me talk about this if you've taken my criminal law class. And then so you got the Fourth Amendment and the Fifth Amendment and the Sixth Amendment, right to a speedy trial. And the right to a speedy trial is involved where you have right to a speedy trial, right to counsel, and so forth. Then we jump down to number 8, the Eighth Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment, which deals with dealing with what some parts of the death penalty fall under, which you're going to be discussing later in the course, and you'll discover that the death penalty is constitutional under certain parameters. I'll reserve that till we get there. But I've talked about this in criminal law classes. And also in the Eighth Amendment, you'll see the bail issue, um, those issues. And so those are the main issues. So again, summarizing, fourth, fifth, sixth, and eighth. Those are the ones, okay? But the fourth overall is the one that we deal with more and more in criminal procedure, okay? All right, so I wanted to take time to do that. All right. All right, now, so then that's it for your, okay, I'm not going to go into that, but it tells you your discussions. All right, so now let's go back. Again, I apologize for going in and out of the class, but I'm still trying to figure out a better way to do this, but we'll come up with it. Okay, so then after you deal with this discussion thing, this is your grade book. I won't get into that. All right, I'll have to deal with that. This is how, if you want to message me, people, I already sent you an initial email, but this is one of the ways that you can find the emails. And you can see where different students have sent me emails, and then you can see the emails that I sent to you. All right, the first email that I sent to you actually was a welcome email. And then, okay, I responded to um, one of you. And then all course members, I also sent the rubric and then the PowerPoints, all right, as well. All right, so you'll be able to see those. So that's how I can see the discussions. Now, there's another way to do it, which may be the way that you'll be able to do it. But anyway, I'll show you in a few minutes. But that's it. Okay. Is everybody with me so far? Okay. The subject is going to be the easiest thing to deal with. Navigation of the system is the most difficult thing. And I hope that some of the things I've done so far have helped you to clarify some of the things and how to find them. Does everybody have any questions that they want to ask me about anything that I have so far covered or that you're still confused on? Type in the chat box, it'll show me so that I can say, cover it. Okay. Okay, excellent. All right. So now this over here on the left is something that um, uh, this is stuff I won't go to until I get ready in just a few minutes. But this just tells me everybody who's in the course. All right. This tells me if we manage groups. The only time I do that is if I had like 10 or 15 people in a in a lecture. I've never had that. And then let's go to announcements. So anyway, here are my announcements. Let's go to where you can see them. All right. So you got the welcome announcement, which you guys have seen already. And I provided this information to tell you certain things, including when the lectures take place, the initial lecture taking place tonight, weeks 2, 3, 4, and 5 will take place every Tuesday, beginning the 13th. All right. Now, uh, yep. So we have those. All right. So now, oh, you know what? I don't see in here week 6 lecture. Week 6 lecture. I thought I had typed it in here, but week 6 lecture is actually going to be on a Friday. But when we get there, don't worry about it. We'll deal with that. So for the moment, every week from week 1 to 5 will be Tuesdays. And then there's a reason why week 6 is because if you notice, week 6 would fall on the 11th of May. We're not going to have a lecture that we're going to have a lecture that Friday before that, but you'll have all of that well in advance. Okay. So anyway, so welcome announcement. Then I provided you with the rubric for week 1. Okay. But the rubrics are in the assignments too. All right. So this is your weekly rubric. So this is your rubric for the assignments. So notice it says add information to rewrite the preamble and all possible issues. Okay, when it says meets page requirements, this one doesn't say how many pages, but it should be at least 2 paragraphs to be able to do that. So you're going to add information to rewrite the preamble. Then you're going to rewrite it, and you're going to see once again that again in a few minutes. Then before we get to the week 1 assignment, there's the writing process, which it tells you how the writing steps to go through to help you. And then there is APA assistance. So now you have the link to take you to APA help as well. And if you were to click on this, it will take you to the resource and place where you find that information to help you with APA. So it's a little bit different than it was before, but it's the same information there. Okay, we're in APA 7th edition, and you know that when papers are APA, it's a cover page, citations in the body, throughout the paper, and references at the end. Double spaced. Okay, and then if you go through here, you can learn more about it. But by now, you should be pretty familiar with APA. All right, so now the academic integrity video. All right, that's Dean John Mladic. Dean Mladic is the person who was over the library and learning. And so I'm going to play this for you. Click on this, and then I'm going to take, well, you can go back and you hear it as well and pay attention to what it's saying here. And by the way, there's academic integrity is have a closed caption. There you go. Honesty, trust, fairness, responsibility, and respect. This means being honest in the work you do, while respecting the work that others do. So what is cheating? Cheating means distributing or receiving answers or information by any means other than those expressly permitted by an assignment's requirements or an instructor. Some examples of cheating include asking fellow students for answers or copying answers during a test, using notes, devices, or materials during a test that your instructor has not approved, purchasing papers from websites or other sources, copying your classmates' work, assisting a classmate in misconduct, and other violations as noted in the academic integrity policy that can be found in all course syllabi. Always ask your professor if it's okay to use notes during a test or to work together with classmates on an assignment or quiz. Now let's talk about plagiarism. Plagiarism means using another individual's work without giving them credit or taking another person's work and claiming it as your work. Some examples of plagiarism are turning in an assignment that someone else wrote, copying words or ideas from someone else. This can be a library resource, course textbook, internet resource, or other material without giving the original creator credit. Failing to put quoted works in quotation marks, or using someone else's ideas in your essays, but changing a few of the words to make it sound like the words are your own. Plagiarism is not just about written words and ideas. It's possible to plagiarize images, graphs, coding, or video as well. So how can you avoid plagiarism? Cite your sources, both in the body of your paper as in-text citations and on your references page. Whenever you want to use words, images, media, or ideas that were created by another person, you should cite that person appropriately as the source of that information.
But how does academic integrity relate to the work world? Isn't it just a college thing?
No. Integrity in the workplace starts with good practices and skills built while you are a student. Would you turn in a project document to your manager as your own when someone else wrote it? Not if you want to keep your job. Individuals can be reprimanded or even fired from their job for plagiarism. Following academic integrity guidelines while you are in school builds those skills and ethical practices that carry through to the workforce.
Okay, I understand how they're connected, but what do I do if I need more help?
If you have questions on the academic integrity policy, consult your course syllabus, talk with your instructor or dean, and if you need assistance with APA citation style or how to avoid plagiarism,
contact the Rasmussen Library team through our live chat or schedule a research appointment on our library website or through the resources tab of your course. If you would like APA tutoring, schedule an appointment with one of our peer tutors on the course resources tab.
Okay, let me plug this back in. Okay, so I apologize. I know that the uh, was a little low, but that's the way that this thing operates. I am endeavoring to try to figure out a way to get around and make that better. Okay, so now let's take a look at, we've already looked at the rubric for this week, the written assignment. We also have looked at everything that you need to understand. Oh, by the way, um, if you, okay, before I go to that, let me go back to this. All right. There are some tools here. I think you have, yeah, okay, on the right. Um, there's a need help to chat, and then your resources tab. So we still have the resources tab, but this is where it's located. I used to be up at the top there. So you click on the resources tab, and it actually helps you with some of the things that we just got through talking about, like the library and learning resources. Um, Again, I have to move this out the way. So you have your APA guide, you have your Grammarly. Everybody should know that your papers are run through Grammarly, your Noodle tools, your writing guide that I kind of showed you a few minutes ago, and then you have a guide for topic and subject. So if you click on this again, it takes you to each of the school ofs, and we would be justice studies. So you click on that, and it helps you with all kinds of things: APA, tutoring, criminal justice. If you're in Minnesota, then you deal with this aspect of it as well. But that's for Minnesota people. But for criminal justice, you these are various courses that there's special help on. You all had this one already. Probably many of you have had drugs and crime because I teach that as well. And introduction to criminal law, I teach that one as well. Those are the main ones. So anyway, you have that information. And then research tools, the articles that you want to find, and then everything you need to find here, uh, library guides, and so forth. So everything you need is still here. So now you want to make sure you use that resources tool as well. So you have that right here. Then there is this video that I just got through showing you. You can look at that too, academic integrity. And then this is the library and learning chat. As then you should know, Dennis Johnson is our librarian that we work with here. Okay, so that's a place where you can find your resources that you have. So let's get back to the announcement, the last announcement I want to talk about, and that is week 1. So this week's announcement, that, as you can see, Foundations of Constitutional Law, and you're going to read chapters 1 to 3 of the constitutional law and complete the activities, the Constitution and the Supreme Court. And then I'll show you where that all that stuff is in the module. And then I talk about the dealing with the readings. And then it shows you in your first one, which is tonight. And then it gives the link. And then your discussion posts, exploring judicial review and the important amendment. And notice that the initial post is due, the deadlines for in the course calendar. And oops, it says this initial post is due on Saturday, but that is not entirely correct. It is actually your initial post is due on, and I know why that happened, is due on Tuesday tonight, and then your reply post on Saturday. Okay. All right. So I'll go back and I'll correct that. And then your written assignment, the preamble, um, and the requirements we'll cover in just a few minutes. And then the first lecture is an open house that we're doing right now. And again, it gives the link. And it reminds you that I want you to start strong and finish strong. And my motto, adversity is a springboard to success. Those of you who in my classes before know, I will send you a link to a story that you can look at, a video that I posted on YouTube, but I'm going to send you the link so that you will have it to understand why I am how I am and the positions that I take. Okay. All right. So let's, so that's your weekly announcement. Okay. So I've covered all the course announcements for this week. All right. So now I want to go to books and tools. Back again to where we were a few minutes ago. And again, resources. Okay, and now the syllabus. So let's take a look at the syllabus. Okay, so the syllabus looks pretty much the same. It has my name and it tells you my office hours. And everybody, Amanda correctly stated it. You can feel free to call me, text me, or email me any hour of the day except the 25th hour of the day, except the 25th hour of the day. There's my phone number, which leads right here. And if you need me, there's my email address for the class. And then this is a reminder of something that you should be aware. You are required to conduct research on all papers, which means the sole source of your papers should not be the textbook or you'll lose 2 points. So the idea is to conduct research with all your written assignments. All written assignments should be in APA format. That means, as I already shared, citations in the body of reference and references at the end. Notice citations throughout the paper, not just a citation thrown in there to get you done. And notice that if you have 4 references and you have 1 citation, something's wrong because your references should reflect the citations in the body at least once. Then you'll lose a point for failure to provide a cover sheet for all written assignments. And so this comes down and this tells you no text, but it does, you know the text, you already have it. All right. And then your discussion forums, you know that they should not be very brief. They should be detailed and that it should reflect some critical thinking and that you actually have given some thought to what you're writing. APA format is what we utilize for this course throughout the school, and you're aware of that. And then, for APA, library resources, which I've told you about as well. All right, so your resources tab, I've shown you how to find that in this course, but you also should be able to find another way. So your assignments in this course consist of reading, which is usually, there's no due date on readings, but I encourage you to start reading on that Monday. Your discussion post, we've discussed that. Your written assignment, we're going to talk about that more in detail. And then you'll have a course project. Then there will be a midterm, that will cover the first three modules. Excuse me, cover the first three modules. And then the good part about it is that the final exam will consist of 19 true, false, multiple choice questions and 6 short answers. The test is comprehensive. So what that means is for a midterm, you're going to deal with the term with weeks 1 to 3. However, because the final exam covers everything from weeks 1 all the way through to week 6, and then your live classroom lecture. And you see how it breaks down with points: 550 for discussion posts, 480 for your written assignments, 500 for your course project, and for your live classroom, uh, 60 points, okay, or 10 points each week, and then your exams, and then for a total of 1770. Now, I'm going to say something that probably all of you already know. My role is to get you to A and B. I do not take time to try to get you to C. Do not ever call me, text me any hour of the day about how to get a C in my class. I won't have that discussion with you. I refuse to, because I don't have to tell you how to do C work. If you follow what I share with you, you will be able to um, understand. Now, I'll be more patient with you guys this term, because this is the first time we have Ultra, and that, to be honest with you, we are all learning how to utilize Ultra. All right. I remember years ago when we had Angel. Some of you don't even know what the heck I'm talking about. You don't want to know. And then we switched to Blackboard, and now we got Ultra Blackboard, and everybody's crying, I want to get back to the old. Well, uh, we'll see. They said they're going to do things to make it better for us as time comes on. Our IT team is working on some things to help us, to help you as well. So don't bail out on us. So I'm here to help you. Do not worry if you have to call me 20 times or text me or email me. Um, I don't care. By the way, speaking of texting, when you do text me, please make sure you include your. I did not like Angel. Oh my God. Yeah, I know. I guess you would. I did not like Angel. Oh, I was glad to get away from it. I was, I became very good at it. And so here's what they do. You become good at something like Blackboard, and then they come up with, we're going to challenge you with this Ultra. Remember now, what they did was they originally were going to do Ultra in the winter quarter that we just completed. But somebody with the better minds came forth and said, no, we better not do that. We better take it to uh, the spring. And so, trust me, my wife said I was cranky because I was trying to figure out stuff, and she was always asking me stuff, and I was able to answer things right away. I said, no, don't ask me nothing. Don't ask me nothing. Don't ask me nothing. Okay. I was going to ask you if you want to eat anything. I said, no, I don't want to eat. I will tell you. So, so she said, you're grouchy. I said, I'm not grouchy. I'm just trying to get this understanding of this new ultra thing. I can see many of you guys the same thing. So even Milky ran away. Milky is my golden doodle that he's a baby, but he's pretty big. He'll be 9 months, he'll be 10 months old the 22nd, no, year old, 22nd of June. And he usually runs toward me, but I tell him, keep him away from me. But anyway, so the point of the matter is that I'm saying we got a lot of stuff on our plate, not just the course material, but the LMS itself. So we're all going to get through this together. So back to my main point. A and B is where we're going to end up with. I am so excited when I see my students get to A and B. I'm not as excited when I see you get a C. I just am not. I'm sorry. Because the reason why is because those of you who are going to perform very well in the future, you're going to understand that the C students don't necessarily go very far, but the A and B students, like I was an A and a B student, I was a C student for just a minute. I mean, a minute. Then I said, I'm spending all this money. I said, forget that. And I did. And I was raising kids at the same time. But when you see my video that I'm going to share with you, you'll see that. So, all right. So there is a section here that reminds us of accommodations. If you have a need for accommodations, please speak to your campus accommodations coordinator, who generally happens to be your campus dean, your academic dean, and you reach out to them and they will tell you the steps and so forth. And then I will receive that information and uh, provide whatever the accommodations are. That's part of the requirement under law, under the ADA, Aid to Disabilities Act. Now, the transferable skills. These are skills, as I had alluded to a little bit earlier, that we've identified that employers want you to have. And I referred to the first two, communication and critical thinking, as two issues that are prevalent that you'll see if you pay attention to the Chauvin case. Um, and the Chauvin case, for those of you who don't know about Chauvin case, it's the police officer who's charged with murdering um, George Floyd up in Minneapolis. The case is now on various channels during the day. And one of the key things that's important that you'll see the law enforcement individuals as well as the attorneys and everybody that have to be able to communicate. They have to be able to communicate adequately in written because you see the exhibits that are produced. Uh, Let me see. I think I know what you I think I know what you said. Yeah, I've heard that too. A students become judges, B become prosecutors, and C make a lot of money. Well, that is not entirely true. That's a misrepresentation. I heard that, but that trust me, that is not true. That's actually an old joke. So now you won't want to be a C. And by the way, what they're talking about are students in law school. By the way, with the grades, you can't get into law school if you have C's very well. At least good law schools that you want to go to. All right, so now I would dismiss that from my thought processes. That's average. You want to be above. You know, I've never been turned down from a job, but I've turned down jobs because I was an AB student. I know C students who have been turned down because people like me come along, AB, and get the jobs themselves. So there, correction on that. So communication is so important. The written communication for the memos, reports, and things. And yeah, it is. It is a joke. And so the um, be able to express yourself in various ways, reaching different people. Critical thinking, you will hear and have, if you listen to that testimony, you've heard more than one time critical thinking being included in the information for training in law enforcement. And for Minnesota, Minneapolis particularly, that was one of the issues. And you'll hear that across the country. And what that means is being able to take material and think fast, be able to apply it and do it properly and professionally, and be able to provide adequate information as well. Digital fluency, everything is digital, as you know already. We got cameras everywhere. That's part of the exhibit A for this case, the Chauvin case, and many other cases now. And that when you work in law enforcement or any other areas, almost you're subjected to being on video camera, except you shouldn't be doing that in the courtroom, as one lady found out early on when she was doing it in the Chauvin case. I already knew that. We not, they won't even let us take our phones in, even as lawyers in most courthouses because of that. So anyway, digital fluency. Your books are digital, which I will, by the way, show you. Does everybody know how to access their book, their textbook in this new system? Okay, Christine, you know. Okay, good. All right, because I won't have to do that. But it is important that if you don't know how to do that, that you can reach out to. Actually, if you reach out to PSC, everybody knows about personal support, and that was one of the resources that is available to you as well. So everything's digital now. When I came out of law school, 1978, there was no such animal, but now everything is that, including our classroom, as we are learning with this new system that we have with Ultra. Diversity and teamwork. Guys, we are in a society where there are people from all walks of life. Uh, Good. Good. Yeah, that's what yeah, someone said that there was an orientation option. By the way, change your setting from private to everyone so that everybody can have access to the information there because you're not going to put anything on there that you don't want everybody to see. But yes, there was an orientation, I was told, but even with the orientation, still students still had issues and questions. So diversity are people from all ethnic groups, backgrounds, sexual persuasion, religious beliefs, cultural differences. You're going to have to deal with people from all races. Our country is a melting pot. We are a country that has to understand and respect people, and we have to understand and be sensitive. We must demonstrate that we uh, totally are empathetic with looking at people's situation and understanding. They call me Mr. Empathy because I'm very empathetic when it comes to dealing with my students and everybody. I guess it's part of who I am as a person, but it really falls into because I, as a pastor of a church, I am totally understanding of those things. But diversity, people have different ways that they say things like, for example, this past week, people said Happy Easter and Happy Resurrection. I didn't get offended by either one, but because I understand what I believe. But don't be so thin-skinned when somebody says something different. I celebrate Christmas. I celebrate Kwanzaa as well. I have my Jewish friends who deal in Hanukkah, and I know all about that because I worked in a big Jewish law firm for about 10 years. So I had a yarmulke. I know about all the events that happen as far as bar mitzvahs. I love those. You get a chance to have a lot of fun and eat, but don't invite me to the brisk. And guys learn about the brisk. Ladies may know about it too, but I don't want to be invited to that. So, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But my friends who are Jewish guys, we have this joke that we talk about that. But the point of the matter is very seriously, diversity is important. Teamwork, you're working with individuals at different levels. You'll notice that you work with detectives, police officers, paralegals, you work with defense attorneys, prosecutors, you work with judges, um, you'll work with probation officers, parole officers, um, all of the above, forensic scientists, psychologists, other clinicians as well. I've worked with many of them in terms of working as a team. Okay, ethics and professional responsibility. Ethics is so, so, so important. Once again, using the Chauvin case, I heard ethics mentioned several times concerning application of the policies of the department with the use of force and with the police department interacting with the community. And the ethical practices is what gives the agency a good name. Unethical practices give them bad names. And then also violation of ethics could land you in jail and or losing your employment, as we've learned what's happening in the Minnesota case, but it happens all over. We had it happen here in Chicago and other agencies across the country. And it's not just law enforcement, it's all areas of criminal justice. Professional responsibility, you must follow the code and conduct and requirements that are given for that. Then information literacy. Credible sources should be used for your uh, written and to support your positions. There is one source that everybody should know that you never use as a citation or a reference. Anybody want to type the name of that in here? What is it? Finish it out. That's the short part. That's the first part of it. Yeah, there we go. Wikipedia. You will instantly lose points for that. I'm telling you up front, it'll be in our rubrics. And then I always say it. I always say it. Every once in a while, somebody uses it. And the reason why we don't use it, just for your information, is because it is a word-based system that can be changed by anybody. Okay, so those are your transferable skills that you can yeah, it is, but I don't rely on it. You're right. You're right. If I'm goofing around, I might look at it or something like that, but I try not to because I'm aware of that. But never use it in an academic setting. That's what I'm encouraging you not to. Okay, here's your attendance policy. I won't go over that. The late assignment policy. Uh, okay, what did you say? I think I know what you said. At the bottom, they have citations from, yeah, but here's the point. It's not that. It's that the body of they can change dates and information that's in there and leave the citations at the bottom. And if you go to those sources, it doesn't say that. So those are the kind of things. Just be aware that if there is a website that's word-based, that means that anybody can change the information in it, and that's not good. Okay, when it's otherwise, then only the administrator can change that. All right. So late assignments. Your assignments are due on the due dates that we give you, i.e., most written assignments are due on Sundays, initial post Tuesdays, reply post Saturdays. And so every day that you're late with those assignments, you lose 10%. Well, discussion posts are a little different, and I'll explain to you that in a few minutes. But you don't want to be late. It says you have up to 7 days, but that doesn't mean anything because after the fourth day, if you lose 10 points, that means that you'll lose 40 points. You'll be at 60, and that's a D. Okay. And if you get to 5 days, then you failed. So the point of the matter is you don't want to operate on that basis. Now, it says that in some cases, dealing with discussion posts, you'll be asked to complete an alternate assignment. I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't even know why they even have it in there. I don't know anybody who does it. Maybe a few people do it, but I don't ever do it because I have enough work as it is to deal with. But the point of the matter is that get your assignments in on time. All right. Discussion posts are due by the end of the week. Notice that Saturday is when your reply posts are due. If you have not posted before Saturday and you post Sunday, no deal. If you post your initial post by Saturday, 11:59 p.m. Central Standard, and you post Sunday, only Sunday, you will lose a point for the late posting, assuming that it's quality and reflects critical thinking. So be aware of that. I do encourage you to reply to more than one post. So a student asked me already how many posts do they reply to, and the answer is at least one. But remember, with discussion posts, I got it set up for posts first. I was looking for that. I used to use that a while back, but it's important because it allows students to not to come up with their own posts first. There are a few students that were guilty of taking some of the information. They'd read what somebody else said, then they would put their initial post in. We don't want you to do that. So I stopped that. So you don't do that. You can reply to more than one post. Citations are not required, but I appreciate it, citations and references. So now let's talk about the late penalty. Now this does not apply to discussion posts. When discussion posts are over, that week is over, and it says it down in this late submission period. It says online discussions conclude at the end of the week. Any made after that will not be accepted, with the exception of what I told you a few minutes ago for that Sunday for the reply. Now, waiving late penalty, and we're already at 10, but give me a few minutes. Um, you will be able to find yourself in a situation where you actually will be able to take your assignments and let me know when there's a problem, because it says instructors may waive the late penalty. That would be me in the case of extenuating circumstances. And any of you who've had me before know how I am about that. Do not let me know when a lot of people try to reach me Sunday to ask me about assignments. I said, well, yeah, okay, but try to, if you have a problem that's going on during the week that's creating a problem, try to get your assignments done. I usually try to tell students, try to at least get everything done for the week until Sunday, except your quizzes or tests, so that you will have gone through the material to help you prepare, because the tests are closed book when you get ready to take them. Okay. All right. And so that's the late assignment. Incomplete, you can read that yourself. And then the academic integrity policy, you can also go over and read that yourself as well. Okay. Okay. I think I've got everything except now I want to go in week 1, the module. So I can click on this and I want to go over the written assignment. And you'll see that right now. Okay. And it tells you the due date. All right. And it tells for a maximum of 80 points. All right. So it says rewrite, and it tells you what you need to know. Rewrite the preamble to the Constitution, add anything you believe is missing, and make it more contemporary and relevant to our present society. And make sure it speaks to all future times. Okay. So that's one thing you're going to do. And so you should make sure that you proofread your material for spelling, grammar, and punctuation, and submit your assignment in the Dropbox. You know how that operates. Microsoft Word, people, do not send me assignments in any other form. You will get a 0 when I do my grading. And by the way, my comments will generally be in the bottom of the rubric, or either in next to what your grade will be. All right. And I'm very serious about this. So this first assignment should be at least 2 paragraphs. At least 2 paragraphs. All right. Remember what I said? double space, cover page, and you really don't, I'm not really so much worried about citations and references for this single assignment, but it's a good habit to get in the custom of. All right. Any questions about the written assignment, the preamble? Any? Looks like none. So, all right, I will continue on and go back. Okay. So now let's go back to, we already did the discussion. So we covered that, both of those. All right. And then your live recording, we've discussed that. Let me show you this. Your live classroom recording. Do you remember before I would email it to you, and I probably will email it to you again, but I also posted, and remember it used to be on the course homepage, but it's different now. So here's what they have us doing now. Here's what's going to happen. So after the recording is completed, then I will, and you'll see here that it's today, and then here's the link. What I will do is I will come back, and this is for me now, not for you. I will come back and I will edit this, and I will edit it. You don't need to do it, but anyway, I was just showing you where I'll edit and put in here the new. I'll put some information and tell you week 1 live lecture, and then I'll have a link so that when you actually click on week 1 live lecture itself, it will take you directly to it. That's the difference from before. Once again, I will still email it to you so you'll have it that way as well. Okay. So that's how your live classroom recording will show up. We're just about done. And then this would be anything here where it says, this is the information about the module, and it explains the first module and the Constitution, which is divided into 3 parts other than the Bill of Rights, is the legislative, the executive, and the judicial branch. The legislative branch on the federal level consists of the House and the Senate, and the House consists of 435 members, and also you have some at-large members, and then there is 50 states that have a total of 100 U.S. senators. Then the executive branch consists of the president and all those that fall under the president. The judicial branch consists of the courts, starting with the district court, I'm talking about on the federal level, the Court of Appeals or the appellate court, and then finally the court of last jurisdiction, and the highest, as we already talked about, is the U.S. Supreme Court. And if you click on these, you'll see that. I talked to you about the first 10 amendments, which are the Bill of Rights, and okay, they took it out. Used to be in here. All right. I'm gonna have to tell them about that. Okay, but remember I talked to you, excuse me, about the most commonly cited amendments are the 4th, 5th, 6th. But remember I said the 8th Amendment too. But in the process of procedures, primarily 4th is first, 5th is second, and 6th is third. And I already explained to you what those are, and here is what they are. Okay, and then this describes the United States Supreme Court as well. Okay, and so that is all that I have for today. Um, by the way, oh, let me go back. Let me go back. Okay. All right. So the rubric is not written in here. In some of the classes, it is, but not. I already sent you the rubric, and then I also posted it as well. That was what I was going back to see as well. But notice the due dates. Once again, you see it, there it is there. Everyone has a due date. All of them have due dates. All right. And remember the due date here that's in here is the second one. But the calendar actually gives, remember I explained to you why it's wacky, but that's how they had us do it. So I know somebody's gonna look at it and say, wait a minute, I thought the initial post was due tonight. It is, but that's why the calendar is so important. But the only due date that we can put in the assignment is the reply post. So it's not my call, but that just explaining that to you. All right. So that is all that I have for you for tonight. Do you have any questions that you want to ask me? I know we're a couple minutes over. Any questions? Any? Of course I do. Yeah, I always, you know what? It's funny. I always do that just to see. I'm not using that. You already know that. I've used that many a time. Oh gosh, you guys are funny. Uh, so uh, today, my key phrase to get your points. And by the way, you do know, let's go down so you don't get confused again. You go down to your assignment, live classroom, not recording, but live classroom, and you open this up, and then you do with the drop down the assignment, and you enter your response from the live classroom. Okay, and then it will let me know. So, all right, don't email it to me. It needs to be in here. Constitutional law. That's it. Made it real easy for you this week. That's the key word phrase. Give me that and you get your points. I usually recommend to students that they do that while they're in the session and get that over with. And then I will uh, put the grade in for that right away. All right, guys. Well, again, it's been a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next 5.5 weeks and getting through things. Next week, I won't be going over all the other stuff that I went over. I'll just do the announcements for the week, and then we'll go over the actual assignments and for that week, and then we'll get into the lecture because the lectures will be 8:30 to 9:30. All right. So I'll see you guys next week, uh, same time, and have a fantastic week. Stay safe. Um, take care of yourself. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but um, I wear my mask and I also take my shots. As a matter of fact, I got my second shot on this Sunday coming up. So you follow what you know you should do, and listen to your doctors and your the people you respect about that. It's very important. I want all you guys to be healthy and safe and your families as well. All right. So good night to each and every one of you. And I'm going to stop sharing. Thank you, each of you. Appreciate it. And looking to see you next week. As I say, same bat time, same bat channel. Good night.